Hello everybody, thank you very much for having me here at the Australian EV Association. It's a real honour to be the keynote speaker today, so thank you very much. If you're watching this video, that obviously means that we weren't successful getting a good connection, so I apologise for that, but I hope that I can make up for it with this video because I've got some interesting sort of sequences that I've recorded to make this very visual for you, to see the trends that are coming outside of China. But before I get onto that, I'll briefly introduce myself so you know where I'm coming from. My name is Mark Rainford. I founded Inside China Auto here in China, which is a YouTube channel with over 100 videos and 10 million views, and InsideChinaAuto.com, which is a website about all the news from the wider Chinese automotive industry. I've been in China for 8 years in total now, 4 years doing Inside China Auto. I was with Mercedes-Benz for 4 years in China before that, 8 years in total, also in Germany and the UK. I have been a car guy my entire life, let's say. I got a master's degree in automotive journalism, which, believe it or not, is actually a real thing. And I've been writing for Car Sales and Drive in Australia, as well as Autocar, Auto Express, Car Evo, and other publications in the UK. So I'm very much a car guy through and through. Bit of a nerd, as you'll probably see during the video. But yeah, I do all this from China, so I get to see this stuff on the ground and tell people about it outside of China before it gets to those markets. So yeah, today's video I'm going to talk about the Chinese trends, the trends inside the Chinese automotive industry and how that might affect markets around the world. The first thing to say is that the Chinese consumer is not necessarily the same as ourselves. So some of the things we're going to see in the videos, some of them will come outside of China, but others may stay within China. Chinese car culture is a bit different from ours. They changed quite a bit after COVID in terms of going out into the country and road tripping and taking their cars on the road with them as like a slice of their home, like a living room. You'll start to see that in the things that I show you. So in the videos, we're going to be going through a bunch of different cars. I'm not picking any particular brands, but I am going to demonstrate to you the trends that are coming out via those cars. Won't be in a linear sequence, let's say. It's going to be a few different trends on each of the cars that we look at, but you guys can decide which ones of these you think might head outside of China and which ones will stay inside China. And every now and then I'll drop back in for some more comment, and then we'll get onto the stuff that's a bit less visually appealing and talk about that. But first off, let's start with Lynk & Co and Zeekr and start talking about screens. Now when it comes to screens, there's really only one place to start, and that is with this, which is the Lynk & Co 900 from the Geely Group. This car may well be headed to Australia at some point, but this car is pretty notable for the fact that it kind of does away with the usual 15.6-inch screens and instead makes do with a 30-inch 6K screen. This is all one unit, all the way across the front. There's a section on the side here, so the passenger can operate their own things on this side. You've got their apps in here for TV, things like that, so you can watch movies on here, or you can watch a movie across the whole screen. But believe it or not, that's not the only screen in the car, because if we climb into the back of the Lynk & Co 900 and then we look up to the roof down up there, I'm going to click on this button here and open our rear screen. And this one, as you can see, is also a 30-inch 6K screen right up here in the back, which is just crazy. It's just as big as that one over there, but it's right here in the back for all of the rear passengers. And this one also can use gesture control, so you can control it simply by moving your hands in the air. You can go into split screen if you want to, and because these rear seats have individual speakers in them and it's got its own Bluetooth channels, individual passengers can all watch their own side of the screen by themselves and listen to their own audio. So you can basically have the entertainment for 4 people in here, all completely aligned. And this car, by the way, has a 30-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. But it's not the only cool thing about the Lynk & Co 900, because if I look down here, we have these interesting buttons. This one, you'll see, looks a little bit like 2 seats facing towards each other. If I hold that button down, what now happens is our front passenger seat is sliding out of the way. Our screen has just tucked itself up into the roof. And now our seats are going to start doing something interesting. This is our passenger seat here. Apologies for the framing on the video. But as you can see, this seat now rotates all the way around to face backwards And you can actually use this while the car's driving as well. If your second row passengers just happen to want to travel backwards, you can do the same thing with that seat over there. If I knew how to speak the Chinese, I could get them all to rotate at the same time. But now, as you can see, we've now got this open space where you can have a conversation with our other passengers in the back. And if that's not necessarily a useful feature for you, well, we can instead simply turn it 90 degrees, because as you'll know, if you're a parent, getting your kids into the car seat isn't the easiest thing in the world. But when you've got a seat that can do this, you can simply load your child into the seat and it's far more convenient, doesn't damage your back quite so much. So again, that's one of the really cool features here on the Lynk & Co 900. There are some other cool features that are also quite a bit of a trend in China, such as graphics on the tail lamps here. These are becoming increasingly popular on Chinese cars, and even graphics on the front end of the car as well. Down here, as you can see, we've got these little eyes. You can also show you the current state of charge of the car, for example, on there. You can show other kind of fancy features. So again, just little things to personalize the car and make it kind of your own design. Some people, I get it, might not like this, but this is nevertheless one of the interesting features that is coming onto Chinese cars in the future. Now, from the screens on the Lynk & Co 900, we're going to head to the Zeekr 9X. This car also has some pretty interesting screens, but also some other pretty interesting features. So let's turn the camera around and have a look. So this is the Zeekr 9X. This actually has a plug-in hybrid drivetrain with either 2 or 3 electric motors. It's targeted at something like the Range Rover, but I wanted to show you a pretty cool screen and some extra cool features in this car. As you'll see, we don't have a space to put a screen up here like we had on the Lynk & Co 900. We've got a double panoramic roof here with an opening sunroof there, and we've got a third sunroof in the back for our third row occupants. So how do we deal with that? Well, we come down to our door here, we press this button, and now our screen starts to fly from the back of the car. This is a 17-inch screen, 3K, so another high quality screen. As is becoming more prevalent in Chinese cars, you can do TV, watch movies on there. You can even plug in things like a Nintendo Switch so that all 4 passengers in the back can play with that screen. And if the second row passenger seats don't want to play with it, we can press this button here to make our screen slide further backwards down the car, so it's really only visible for our third row passengers, the kids that are likely to be sat in the third row there. Now, accompanying this very cool screen, which I'm going to tuck away because we don't really need it right now, is one of the most expensive sound systems I've ever seen in a car. One of the trends in the Chinese car market is for brand name sound systems, brands like Meridian, like DVLA, and Name here from the UK. This sound system was previously only in Bentleys. It's now in the Zeekr 9X. It's a £6,000 option. It's a £25,000 option, sorry for pounds, in the Bentley. So it's 42 speakers, something like 10.5.4 point something surround sound, a ridiculous amount of channels, and 3,868 watts of output. Most powerful sound system I think I've ever seen in anything other than something perhaps on the modification channel, the MTV videos that Exhibit used to do a long time ago, if any of you remember those. Now, one other cool feature about this car, let's dive into the seat menu here. We get a few different scene options in the back of this car. I'm going to click on this one, press through that, and now leave the car. And what's going to happen now is our front seats, as you can see, are starting to tip forwards, and we come back to our second row, and you see now that our second row seats have also started to slide forwards, and now in tandem we'll start to rotate. What that means is we can now have a social space in the back of the car. So kind of like a meeting space. You can do it with meetings, you can do it with social, you can put a table in the rails down here so you can all enjoy some food together and play some games. That's really cool, look at that. Again, this is another feature that's starting to happen in Chinese cars, the rotating seats. I'm going to show you another model that has cool seats like these ones. That car is this, the Zeekr Mix. This is a smaller MPV that's only 2 rows, comes with these very funky 2 sliding doors on one side, sliding door and a conventional door on the other side, and it's already set up for us. As you can see, this one comes with a sliding rear bench that splits 40-60 and with twin rotating front seats to give you this usable space inside for your occupants. Comes with these really long rails on the floor, so you can slide these seats really far forwards and backwards, and with this removable and movable unit in the middle here. So when the cabin is in normal mode, or even in this mode, you can slide this down to the back, or you can slide it to the front electronically with that. You can also get this in two different modes as well. We've got the standard mode that comes with some storage drawers at the front and back. This one also allows you to plug in tables into these parts here. So all of these people in the back can enjoy kind of a social area around a large fixed table in the middle. You can, of course, get this with a fridge and heating unit at the same time as well. So you can also heat and cool things in there if you want to, whichever is your priority. So again, that is a really, really neat feature coming out of China, the flexibility and the imagination of the cabins. And one of the increasingly popular and actually necessary features in Chinese cars is now AI assistants that can support you with all manner of things and many different tasks at the same time. One of the best systems is Li Auto's. This is the famous Li Mega, the kind of bullet train shaped electric MPV. We also have now the i8 and the i6. These are electric SUVs that, again, don't really look like SUVs. They kind of have also a slight bit of bullet train look about them. So I'm going to climb to the back of the i8. I'm going to show you some cool features in here. So, 理想同学关这个. So I can literally tell the car to close the window and it'll do that. 理想同学关这个. So you can also close the screen above us and open it as well. And we've got a screen here. I can talk to the car and open that if we want to. In fact, let's do that right now. 理想同学打开后面的电视. Now I'm going to open this screen for the particular reason I want to show you what the car's doing when I talk to it, okay? Because this is where it gets pretty smart and better than other features in other cars. So here's our screen, okay? 理想同学. Notice I've spoken to the car in Chinese up until now. I'll talk to it in English now. Tell me somewhere cool to go in Guangzhou.
Guangzhou is a city of food and culture. You can try some yummy Cantonese dim sum at morning tea houses.
Look at that. So now it can give me advice on cool places to go. I can ask it for nice places to eat. I can actually decide whether I want to kind of go somewhere natural or somewhere constructed. And it gives me all of that stuff inside the system, which means that the car is now really a personal assistant that can guide you. It can be a tour guide. It can also answer questions. So if your kids are on the way to school and they want to know how tall Mount Everest is, for example, they can do all that via the system. And of course, now it's in English as well, which is even better. This brand isn't yet in international markets, apart from, I think, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, 2 individual dealerships there. But it will soon go to international markets. And again, smart features like this are essential in China. They're going to start rolling out into international markets in the future. So as you can see from those videos, there's a real focus in the Chinese car industry on in-car entertainment. So big screens, lots of them, lots of speakers, branded sound systems, and really effective and useful AI assistants. One thing about Chinese consumers is they are happy to talk to their car, something that I think we're a bit less comfortable with in the West, but I think that we might get more comfortable with that in the future. Now, of course, there is also a comfort element. So for long road trips, which Chinese tend to do on several national holidays during the year, you need certain things in your car, like a fridge. That can also be a heater. So a lot of the cars, the ones that we just showed you, they all come with fridges that are also heaters inside the car. But also there's different kind of comfy seats as well. And I'm now going to show you a different take on the in-car fridge. Now, of course, fridges don't necessarily have to be in the middle of the car. They can also be in the back of the car. Check this out. This is the Onvo L60, part of the Neo group that is heading to Australia. And in the boot floor here, lift that panel up, we've actually got a massive fridge in the boot of the car. I think this is something like a 60-litre fridge. So you can keep things really sort of cool and chill in there. You can actually take that out, I believe, and plug it into the car as well. But that, again, is just one really neat feature that you're starting to get kind of lots of lifestyle-oriented features. And I know you Australians like to head out into the countryside and go and do nice things in your cars. So features like these, I think, will be pretty popular in places like Australia. Now, another new feature that's becoming very popular in Chinese cars is zero-gravity seats. As Chinese consumers start to set this trend for spending more time in their cars, cars are starting to put zero-gravity seats in. This is the Neo ES8, and this one actually features 3 zero-gravity seats. So if I open up the rear door here, you'll see we get very lovely large second row in this car. And I can press this button here on this seat, and I'll press the same one on the other seat. And now what happens is our front seats start to slide out of the way. Now, of course, the zero gravity might not necessarily be available for the passenger, for the seat on the driver's side, but our front seat here has gone forwards, our little footrest has gone down, and the seats will now go into zero gravity mode. I haven't pressed this one enough. Let's press that one again. There you go. So we've already got zero gravity on the other side. We've now got zero gravity on this side of the car as well. And if you are instead in the front seat and you would like to have zero gravity on the passenger side seat over here, you can also have that. So these are becoming a very popular feature, not just in the back of cars, but also in the front. This is the Xiaomi U7, one of the most famous electric cars in the world right now. This one, unlike the ES8, has its zero gravity seats in the front. So here, so that passengers in the front, let me hold that button down, passengers in the front can do both of these two front seats in zero gravity, because you know, sometimes it's the kids that are sat in the back. Maybe the adults want to chill out and lie in the car whilst they're having their car charged. Now, of course, one of the advantages of electric cars is that you can have extra storage under the bonnet, which we call a frunk, of course. Tesla pioneered that and made big useful space on the front of the car, but Chinese makers are adding some additional little features so you don't have to open it with your phone in your pocket, for example. The first example I'm going to show you is this. This is the Luxeed R7, part of Huawei's Harmony Intelligent Mobility Alliance. And if I just look down here, on this car, you can knock on the frunk to open it, so you don't need to have your key in the pocket as long as the car is open. You can do that. That's just one way. Let me show you another. Now, back here again with the Xiaomi U7, and this car has a number of different ways you can open the frunk. You can do it again, like with a key in your pocket, just walk up to the front of the car and it will automatically open. You can open it via a button down here, or you can also talk to the car from the outside or from the inside. Now, it's a bit loud in this room, so I'm going to do it from the inside because it won't hear me from the outside. Let's try it in here. 小矮同学，打开前备箱。 Now the U7 comes with a powered frunk, so it actually goes up all by itself, which is pretty cool. As you can see down here, very large frunk, that kind of thing's been debuted on Teslas before. Now I want to show you some other cool features about the U7, things that are pretty unique to this car and the Xiaomi SU7 that you won't find on almost any other car. I'm going to start here in the cabin because see this little silver dot on the dashboard over here? Well, this is a mounted point, like a 1/4 inch screw that you would normally get under a GoPro or things like that. On this side of the car, we've already got one of the accessories plugged in. This is a wireless magnetic phone charger, and it's powered. On the U7, on the SU7 it wasn't powered. On the U7, these are now powered. So this will automatically charge your phone. You can also get GoPro mounts on there. You can get 27-watt USB-C sockets, so you can plug things in as well. So some really neat features where you can record your adventures in your car or simply have easier access to your phone, let's say if you're a taxi driver. So that's a pretty cool thing. Then notice here on the screen in the middle, this is your normal screen. I think it's about 16 inches on the U7, but this one also comes with the aftermarket physical switches at the bottom. Xiaomi recognize that a lot of customers don't like to do everything on the screen. So you can get this physical set of switches. They simply clip on at the bottom of the screen, and you can press those to change your ventilation, your temperature, change your music and volume and stuff there as well. You'll also see that there are some additional features. You can get these weird little lights if you want some kind of disco lights in your car, and you can get these kind of little dials, like tacho dials, on top of the screen as well if you want extra stuff there. Because of course we don't get a screen down here, but what we do get on the U7 is the Hypervision screen along the back. So hopefully you can see that pretty clearly. If not, I'll put some B-roll over the top. That's basically 3 projections on the screen. Let me just pull the camera over here. You can probably see it like that. 3 projections on the screen at the base of the windscreen. Basically like a head-up display, a replacement for a head-up display. Very kind of cool. You can customize all the graphics in there. Again, making the car your own style as you like. When you go into sport mode, things will change. And you've got this funny little digital assistant over here, this capybara. You can get an otter as well, and they animate while the car moves around corners, just kind of giving you an extra little kind of connection to the digital stuff inside your car. One feature I can't show you inside the U7 is these funky little Bluetooth buttons. They're about this big, and there are 9 points in the car where you can magnetize them. You can stick them up here on the side of the seat or on the B pillars, and they can be programmed with hundreds of different functions where you can basically press the button and it will do whatever you've asked it to do. So it can open the glove box or set the front passenger seat to really far forward. so the rear passenger can have more legroom. You can even take it into your house, stick it on your fridge and have it basically set to pre-program the temperature inside your car. So rather than having to go into your app and set the temperature, you can literally press the button before you leave your house, and then it will already kind of get ready and start setting your car up. So again, that's another nice little neat feature. And another one I need to show you on the U7 as well is right here at the back. This is something I haven't seen on any other car before. It's basically debuted on this car when it came out this summer, and it's here up inside the roof. We get a powered rail. Now on here you can do several different things. This is just a mount at the minute. You can get something about the same size as that's a light, so you can get more light into the back of the car if you want it. You can literally get a projector, a Xiaomi projector that hangs onto here and is powered, and you can have a screen behind your car. You can sit in the boot of your car and watch movies while you're out camping, things like that. And you can also get kind of other camera mounts and things up here as well. You simply just plug them in and they're already powered. You can get USB-C sockets, all different ways of powering stuff in the back of your car. So the U7, Xiaomi being a technology company, they are basically bringing all of their experience as a technology provider and starting to stick some pretty unique and interesting ideas inside their cars. And I do believe that other models will start to kind of copy that as these kind of features become popular in these cars. So if you thought Chinese cars were well equipped before, you can now see just how well equipped they are in China. And sometimes some of these features are not possible in other countries because of regulations. Sometimes it's maybe because they think the market isn't ready for those. But you can definitely see they are sticking a lot of stuff in the car, and they're basically changing the way that we think about a car. Now, of course, having loads of kit and tech and high-tech things, that was previously reserved for cars like the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, for the most expensive cars. And Chinese cars are kind of democratizing that, at least within China. But they're not neglecting that luxury segment. So they are actually coming for cars like the Mercedes-Benz Maybach. And the next one I'm going to show you is a very interesting car. It's China's take on the Mercedes-Benz Maybach. And actually, this one has been spotted testing in Australia, which suggests that it might well be coming your way soon. Check out this next car. Now, most of the car brands that you're seeing in Australia from China at the moment are either in the mainstream category or pushing towards premium, brands like Zeekr. But that's not the current limit of where Chinese cars are going, because of course they are aiming for the luxury car segments as well, things like the Mercedes-Benz Maybach, and even getting towards things like a Rolls-Royce. So the car I'm going to show you today has a lot of interesting features, because you'll know that the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, it always was the one that brought the features first, and they filtered down into other cars. This is the Maestro S800, a direct rival for the Mercedes-Benz Maybach. It comes again with a lot of features that are going to make it onto smaller, more affordable cars in the future. So let's start with the outside. First thing, these turquoise lights here down at the bottom, they indicate that the car is in autonomous driving mode. So it can actually do autonomous driving in the city and on highways as well. It can also, if you go to a car park, you can get out of the car and the Maestro S800 will go and find a parking space by itself. When you come back to the car park, on the app, you tell it where you are, and the car will drive around the car park by itself from the parking space and come and pick you up. Obviously, I'm in a dealership at the minute. I can't show you that, but I will put some B-roll over the top showing you what that looks like from the outside, and it genuinely works, which is amazing. So that's one of the cool things on the outside. One thing I can't show you as well, I don't have a Huawei watch. If I did, I could point at the rear window over there, the rear door, and actually open the rear door simply by pointing at it. This car does come with quite a few interesting gesture controls. So let me just climb into the car first and show you. So we've got electric doors, okay, so we can do that. I'm going to climb into the back of the car now and simply grab here and gesture control to close the door, which is really, really, really funky. So that's kind of a cool thing, but that's not the only gesture control we have. You'll see our window is pretty much translucent at the moment, pretty good. But of course, celebrities might be driving this car. You can merely push your hand across the window and that makes it go dark. Simply pull it back again and it opens up, push it down again and it goes dark. So that keeps the paparazzi from checking you out. But let's have a look at this interior. There's our dashboard over there. Let's see if I can get you a better angle of the dashboard. As you can see, we've got 3 screens in the front there, 16 inches in the middle, 15.6 on the side. We get a 76-inch head-up display in here as well. But that's not the best part of the Maestro S800. That's going to require me to turn the camera around. So we're now here in the back seat, as you can see. We get 2 zero gravity seats. These can actually lie down totally flat, so you can, well, not totally flat, but kind of in a zero gravity mode that supports your back in a lovely way. So it's very, very comfortable. We get thick wool carpets down there in this car, so kind of almost like the back of a sheep. We get ourselves a starlight roof on here as well. And if I turn on the feature in the car, just give me 1 second. I can actually turn on, we might actually have some shooting stars. Maybe you've already seen them already. This thing comes with shooting stars, a bit like in the back of a Rolls-Royce Phantom. But again, that's not the coolest thing. Let's check out the door here. We have a releasable phone. Let's go back to our home page. Here's our phone. We get different options on here. There's your starlight roof. We also have this button here. I'm going to press that and let's watch what happens. Let's just check this window here. Let's press the button. So our sun blinds go up to cover our windows. The cover comes down at the front. This part here will lift up as well to block out the light between the front seats in a moment. And as it does that, we also now get a 40-inch projector, which is literally built into the back of the car there, along with a 43-speaker sound system. And on there, we can now control our screen via our phone here. So we can go into this app, and here is all of our TV shows. We can search through TV shows and watch them in the back of the car with that sound system in our zero gravity seat, which is really, really nice. Now, as well as that, I'm just going to pop the phone back into the door. We also have some other cool features. As you know, fridges are getting pretty popular in cars. This is a fridge and a heater, also with a UV sterilization zone in the back, so you can keep things sterilized in there. We can put ice creams in there. It goes down to -6 degrees, I believe, and goes up to 50 degrees so that you can keep things warm as well. Now, down at the front here, let's check out this panel. We've got a few things here. This one is our privacy mode. What this does is turns on garbling in the front speakers in the headrests on the front seats there. There are 4 speakers in each headrest. It garbles the sounds from the back of the car so that they can't tell what you're talking about in the back of the car with your business partners or whatever in the back of here. So that's pretty smart. We also get to have this fingerprint sensor here, which you can press. That opens up this drawer here, and the drawer is basically like a safe, so it keeps things totally private. You can basically program your fingerprint into here, and that makes sure that you can keep your watches and jewelries and things like that away from prying eyes. Down here, as you would have in a Mercedes for quite a while now, we have cooling and heating cup holders as well. And if I pull out both of these 2 bottles, we also get a little tray there for our magnetized champagne holders at the same time, which again, pretty smart little features. We also get, of course, twin wireless chargers in the middle and a pair of tray tables in there as well. So plenty of luxury in the back of these Chinese cars. So as you can see, the luxury cars in China are really now starting to push the boundaries of what we can be achieved with luxury cars like this. Got some other nice features like little lights in the starry lights in the front there and in the door handles as well. You might be able to see those just in the back there and at the back of the car as well. But clearly the Chinese are not just sticking to the mainstream and premium stuff, they are coming for the expensive stuff as well. And if you're lucky, given that they're testing this in Australia, the Maestro might be there sooner rather than later. And if you think all that was crazy, I've got 2 more pretty wild ideas that are coming out of China right now. BYD, who you have there in Australia, they are now fitting some of their cars, also from their other brands as well, with drone boxes. So literal boxes on top of the car where a drone will fly out and it can follow your car and film you, so you can kind of get your adventures on the road or even off-road as well. And you can even scan ahead to find out what's causing the traffic tailback if you really want to. So that's a pretty weird one. Probably won't make it outside of China just yet, but a very extreme example. Another one is cars that not only can float, but can also swim. The Yangwang U8 from the BYD group, that previously proved that it could float on water for 30 minutes. I've tried that myself at their headquarters. It's a very weird experience, floating in a car. Jetor from the Chery Group, who you also have in Australia, recently launched the G700, which swam across the Yangtze River, a really wide river in China. It took about 25 minutes and did so in a more flat way than the Yangwang U8. So again, just some very extreme use cases. Those kind of things maybe won't make it outside of China just yet, but we'll have to see. Now, let's bring things back down to earth a little bit, because there are some things that will 100% affect the markets in Australia and elsewhere in the world. And those key things are charging and also the drivetrains of the cars. One of the big trends in China right now is towards extended range EVs. So if you don't know what an extended range EV is, it's basically an electric car that also has an engine, and the engine can only charge the battery. So it drives like an electric car, but it comes with the range of a petrol car. And what these are doing is scraping all of the internal combustion engine car sales in China and getting people who were previously resistant to getting into an electric car into an electric car. They're also starting to develop now large battery plug-in hybrids. So not like, 2 kilowatt hour batteries or even 20 kilowatt hour batteries. There are now SUVs like the Zeekr 9X that I showed you earlier that come with 70 kilowatt hour batteries bigger than a lot of normal sized fully electric cars. And they are offering electric only range upwards of 400 kilometers, which is pretty crazy, but that's the kind of thing that they're doing. And in China, where you have some parts of the country where cities are a long way from other places, having that kind of range is quite important for these people. They're not certain yet that they can trust fully electric cars, so they are coming out of their ICE cars and getting into extended range EVs and large battery plug-in hybrids. So this is kind of like mopping up all of the remaining ICE sales. And that is a big trend. Right now in Australia, I believe you have the Leapmotor C10. I think it might be the only extended range EV that you have. You might also soon be getting the same car from Smart. The Smart #5 now has an extended range drivetrain as well. So that is another big trend that is really quite interesting and is one that is going to probably bring more people to the electric car table and make them realize, hey, actually, I could drive a fully electric car at some point in the future. So another thing is the charging, and this is where things start to get really interesting. So last year, Zeekr launched the Golden Brick battery. That's a 5C charging battery. It's about 450 kilowatts peak charging power, 10 to 80% in 10.5 minutes. And that was really, really impressive. In about February or March this year, BYD came out and blew all of that out of the water with their megawatt charging. So literally 1,000 kilowatt charging, able to add 400 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes. That made a big splash. And I do believe that those chargers are soon going to be installed in the UK and very likely, I would say, also in Australia as well. Because if you're going to offer cars that can charge at 1 megawatt, you're going to need to start building out the infrastructure as well. And this is what I think is going to happen. They are going to start pushing out this super fast charging infrastructure. Because right now, for example, in Australia, you have the Zeekr 7X and you don't have that many chargers that can actually take advantage of the peak charging power of the 7X. So while BYD took the lead in March, in about April, just before the Shanghai Auto Show, CATL, they had a big press conference and they announced 12C batteries on the way. So they're saying that they're going to be able to add 520 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes. They're also announcing, by the way, that they are going to start to do multi-chemistry batteries. So right now you have LFP batteries and NMC batteries, and at some point we're going to have sodium batteries as well. They're going to start putting batteries together that have a bit of LFP and a bit of NMC, or a bit of sodium and a bit of NMC, something like that. Because certain battery chemistries work in different conditions better than others, so in cold weather, and then some work better when things have warmed up a little bit, so they can kind of maximize the range of a car by using those chemistries in tandem. So how long that will take, not entirely sure, but that again is one of the interesting trends coming out of China. Meanwhile, whilst CATL's 12C battery has only been announced, Zeekr has gone and upgraded their Golden Brick battery on the latest version of the Zeekr 001, which now has a 900 volt platform, and that Golden Brick battery has 12C charging. It's been clocked with a peak charge power of 1,300 kilowatts, so 1.3 megawatts, even faster than the BYD, and charging from 10 to 80% in just 6.5 minutes. And I do think this kind of war towards making super fast charging is going to become a really interesting development. I think honestly that's probably about as high as it really needs to go. We don't need to get much higher than that. Of course, there is another option on top of that, and that comes from the battery swapping. So in Australia, you're very soon going to get the Firefly car from the NIO brand. NIO has been pioneering battery swapping all over China. They've got over 3,500 battery swap stations across the country. They can basically take your battery out of your car, put a new one in that's charged to 93%, and they'll do that in less than 3 minutes. And their batteries actually come from CATL, who are themselves now launching their own Choco Swap battery stations as well, which I believe the Firefly will at some point be able to use. But other cars, like the GAC Ion UT Super, which has just been launched by JD.com, which is a large platform in China, they're going to be charging or switching batteries on the CATL swapping network. They're going to have 1,000 of those by the end of the year in China, 2,500 next year, and upwards of 6,000 over the next few years. That kind of technology has slowly moved out to Europe, so NIO have a few swap stations in Europe, and I do believe that if it is a successful technology, and it does work very well in practice, that kind of thing is going to come out of the country as well. And those things in particular can be very useful on highways, for example. And in Australia, you've got a massive country, some big gaps between cities, certainly if you go around the perimeter road. So a great place to do that would be around the outside of Australia. So again, lots of different options in terms of charging batteries and in terms of swapping batteries and getting all that power in there as well. So yeah, as you can see, this is very clearly the most exciting country for electric cars. The competition with just over or around 100 brands in China is really driving all the brands to come up with different ideas. And in some cases, I'll be honest, some of them are kind of throwing ideas at the wall and seeing whether they'll stick. Things like maybe the drones. Will that last? I'm not sure. But by doing that, they do tend to, work out the ideas that do start to make sense and work for EV users. And as I said, you guys, I think next year are going to have about 26 of those 100 Chinese brands in Australia alone. So you are in a pretty good position to start receiving a lot of this technology. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of hearing what your feedback was on this and what kind of things you feel about the trends coming out of China. But yeah, it's a super exciting place. If you want to chat to me about it, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Instagram, X, and of course you can also find my videos on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it was useful to you guys. And hopefully next time, I'll get to see you in person. I'd love to come and meet you all in Australia, but thank you very much for listening. If there's a chance for a question and answer session now, I'm not sure. I will hopefully be available to do that. Let's see. Thank you very much for listening.